Take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi. Take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss. Take off the weird ass jewelry, I'ma take good steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricate streams and the microwave memes, it's a real world outside. Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo. Take off the Sandro, pay 5-day stay, take up for the meal, hella Fido. Take off the fuck flag, take off perception, take off the cop with the hot patch. Take off the allure, take off the unsure, take off decisions, I mad. Take off the fake deep, take off the fake woke, take off the I'm broke, I care. Take off the gossip, take off the new logic, if I'm rich, I'm real. Take off the shit mill, take off the dojo, take off the broken bag. Take all that designer bullshit off and what do you have?
You ugly as fuck. You out of pocket. 2 ATMs, you stepping to what? You out of pocket. Who you think they talk about? Talk about us. You out of pocket. Who you think they carry up for us? The world in a panic, the women is stranded, the men on the run, the profits are vanished, the law take advantage, the market is crashing, the industry wants niggas and bitches to sleep in the box while they making a mockery.
Take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi. Take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss. Take off the weird ass jewelry, I'ma take good steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricate streams and the microwave.
Come on in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you guys are new here, my name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related. And y'all know I'm here to put you on, but I'm not here to put you on alone. I am here with two illustrious guests tonight, and we are talking everything Severance, Season 2, Episode 4, Woes Hollow. And baby, nothing was hollow. It was full of woes, but not a lot was hollow here. And let's bring her up first over there because I know she got her life from this episode. Tyra over at Struggle Reviews, how are you doing today? And are you ready to dive in to this episode?
I'm doing good. Like, that's right, Irving. I've been waiting on somebody to get up. I've been waiting. Like, this episode gave me everything I needed. The thing is, like, we are no closer to any answers than we were before. But it was just something about, like, the only thing this episode was missing was him slapping the ish out of Milkshake before he made his exit. Other than that, I was here for everything because Irvin said, do something about it.
Oh my gosh. I was here for it. I said, finally, finally, somebody got some sense because Mark is over here moving like a dum-dum. Last but not least, we have D Movie Man in the building. How are you? And are you ready to dive in it, D? Are you ready?
Yes. First and foremost, yes. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here. And I think to sum everything up, I can just say we outside. I don't know why we outside, but we all the way outside.
Oh my gosh. And is and was and like, don't put me in the frozen tundra. Of all the things you can do, don't do that. No, I really enjoyed this episode. This has been one of my favorites so far because while we didn't get answers, we got a whole lot more questions. We got pushed into a different direction. This had me on a quest. I said, I need to know about these four tempers. I need to know about these principles. I need to get in my bag and find out what Kier is all about because it's aligning in some strange places, but I love the acting. I said, listen, Rowan over there in Mayfair, if you want to learn how to be two characters, go talk to Helly and Helena and them because this actress acts down. Do you hear me? I was like, this is what we be talking about. This gave everything I needed. John Turturro did his big one in this one. I felt all of the things. Do you hear me? Like, I have no notes on the performances this episode. D, I'm going to start with you. What were your overall thoughts of this episode?
Yeah, I was stunned in so many ways. And at first, I was worried because I was just like, is this just going to feel like I don't know. For a second, I was just like, is the whole episode just going to be them kind of wandering through and we're going to open more questions? And then, I mean, we are opening more questions, but it's kind of felt like it's going to feel like some kind of surreal situation going on. And then it's just kind of like, oh, okay, now we're back in the office. And that's not really what happened. So I like the fact that we got development. We had, a greater understanding of the characters and then just seeing, of course, certain reveals and how things just really hit hard the way they did. I was honestly stunned by the episode.
Awesome. Tyra, what about you? Overall thoughts? Was this cooking with grease? Hot grease.
Girl, grease. It was hot grease. It was catfish in the grease, girl. I was like, oh, we sizzling finally. It feels like we went so long with kind of more of the same happening. And I knew, I was like, Mark, it's gonna take too long for Mark to stand on business. We're gonna need somebody to have that revelation that Hilly isn't Hilly. And I'm so glad. Like, I just love like Irving. First of all, Irving has been my favorite character.
Right.
I love the actor. First of all, John, you can just tell how seasoned he is and just building tension. Every little obscure thing that they try to do in the previous episodes and seasons, where it's all artsy and over the top and a little pretentious, and it's just like, can you just tell us? I felt like every single intention here in this episode was felt and it made sense, even if it was something as small as them being up on the mountaintop and Irvin like being in the middle on shaky, cracked ice. Like, hello.
Mhm.
That was just such an isolation. They let you know off the back, like he alone. He's absolutely alone, and we are separating him from this situation. Like I felt everything here. The acting was just top tier. It was so good.
Top
It was so
tier.
good. John was acting. I was like, yes, you better do the right thing, John. It's just good. It's just good to see some older, just seasoned actors really deliver in the scene, and just the subtleties matter. And Milkshake, oh, you mad? You wanna argue? I can't argue with you. You mad, girl? He was mad. Say, ooh, that's the most emotion we have ever got out of you. I hate that it takes for Milkshake to get to a certain point to get this frustrated. Like, I think he kind of showed his true colors. All of that, like, Mr. Crockett, cut it off, okay? Cut it off. We know what it is when you get upset. And I can't wait. Like, the ramifications of what everything in this episode could mean is just really, really juicy.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm excited. This ad literally is building anticipation. I was like, "Where's episode 5? Why can't y'all just drop them?" And I'm mad when anybody drops anything more than one episode at a time. But episode synopsis again. This was Woe's Hollow. The team traverses unfamiliar terrain. Mark and Helly explore their feelings. Irving harbors a growing distrust of a friend, y'all, and that's what they did because everybody wakes up in the frozen tundra and we find out that we are at an outdoor retreat and team building occurrence where basically you out here in the woods, in the forest, in the snow, and you got to get it how you live, but you will have help along the way. Tyra, I'm going to start with you. Is this your idea of a good team building experience? And what did you think we were in for when we get up here on this mountaintop and Milchek is running down what's about to happen?
I was chilling until he said 2 days. So 2 days? 2 days where? 2 days where? My thing was like, how did we get here? Like, did you guys travel to like is this a part of the structure? Like, what room is this? Where is this? Because I'm like, you guys don't leave. And what he was saying, like, we're gonna get to this forbidden text and it's forbidden on the severed floor. So I'm like, did you guys travel elsewhere to get to this area, or is this a part of the building of the street? Like, how far does we haven't left? So just to wake up here was extremely jarring. And I was like, dude, I was like, do they eat? Are they gonna get cold? Like, it's gonna be like real, like, because they can feel pain. So I would think that they will get hungry. They're gonna be cold eventually. Why are they dressed like Russians? What's going on? I didn't know what to think. I was just like, really, I kept playing back that instructional video. I kept playing that back because he was talking about 4 of this and 4 of that. Everything he said pretty much let us know that we've been here already. You weren't the first 4 here, and you're probably not going to be the last. It seems like there is just a process. Like, how long have they been trying to make Cold Harbor or whatever happen? But this felt like punishment. This felt like punishment. This also felt like, oh, y'all want to explore. Oh, okay, come on. Y'all want to go outside. Y'all want to leave that department where y'all cozy with pieces of cantaloupe. Okay, y'all want to get another piece of melon. We're going to leave you out here to the wilderness and to the elements and really kind of a shock to the culture type situation. And I think that they were trying to get them to process and go on. I'm like, what are you guys not understanding, Lumen? Baby, they woke. Okay, ain't no going back. There will never be a moment where you can get them underneath your thumb again and have them feed into the propaganda of what Lumen represents, and having them go on this adventure like they finna find the Holy Grail in the Bible. How it was sitting up there under that light. I said, what is this? The Temple of Doom? Is it gonna fall apart when they touch it? What's happening? And that's just gone. And it just seems like they're trying to buy back control, kind of how they went over there with Rickon. And can you just reword and like it's too late for that, but they don't get there yet. Milkshake got it today.
When he said that in the video, literally, since y'all went to college and you know every damn thing, and y'all act like y'all want to explore the outdoors as innies, here we got something for you. I was utterly and completely tickled by that. D, talk to me. And this again is off of the cusp of Mark's reintegration, or what we believe to be his reintegration, and all of a sudden we're here. What was the first thought that entered your mind, and what did you think about this outdoor retreat and team building occurrence?
Yes. Well, my initial thought was that Irving was having another one of those experiences he had in season one. We start seeing like all the black goo dripping, and then it's like, oh, he screams, and then so I figured it was going to be like another one of those moments. And then when the ice started cracking, I thought, like, is he going to fall in? It's going to represent him, I don't know, like drowning further and further in this world of Lumen. And then it wasn't that. It was actually because even the way Mark was calling, I was just like, what's about to happen? And then so once I realized it was an actual team building situation, it was a little odd, and it still took me a minute to not realize to come around to realizing the fact that this really is what's happening. And I thought it was interesting. Someone else just said it, but like this is technically the second time they've been outside. If you think about it, considering last season, but overall, I just became very, very worried once I realized what we were kind of settling into and what this journey might entail.
Absolutely.
So
I agree, because Lumen ain't team building properly. We already know. Y'all stick to the waffle parties that you're used to. You know what I mean? Like, let's not.
No.
I think it was a mechanism for fear, right? And then it begs more questions, because now that we're out here in the frozen tundra, there's doppelgangers and nature hikes, because everybody got a clone now. And are these clones real clones? Are these clones the damn Audis? Who are these other representatives? And then they're just coming out and pointing. We're not having any real interactions. D, I'll start with you. What was your first thought because Milchick did say you're gonna have some assistance, they're gonna lead you around, and also the pace by which they were traversing outside. I said, how did you get from on top of this mountain to down in the valley so quickly? What was your thoughts about this nature hike? We see Irving clearly disturbed, like what's gonna happen? Are we gonna freeze to death? Like, let's go and find some meat to eat. But what did you think of that, and what do you think of these doppelgangers? Are they real? Are they figments, illusions? What is this?
So first, I've seen a lot of movies that look like this, and they don't end well. So, like I said, I was just like, "What's at the end of this so-called hike?" And even when I'm not jumping ahead, but when we see that animal at a certain point, I was just like, "Okay, now what's going on here?" So yeah, there was that. And then what I thought about with the doppelgangers, there's an image in season one's intro where it where it kind of shows he jumps into the workstation, and then it's in his mind, and then it goes here, and then you see all these people standing together almost like they've been depowered, and it's in this dark shadow. And I kind of thought about like, not quite like Westworld, but almost like how they have all these decommissioned versions of the robots and the people they've created. I'm just wondering if this is some aspect of that, because I've never forgotten like that massive row of people that we see standing in the dark. So I'm just like, did y'all just grab some of those from wherever that place is?
Okay, James, thank you so much. James says that the doppelgangers that I'm calling them were called shadows in the credits. And it's interesting. And I'm coming to you now, Tyra, but I watched the recap at the beginning of this episode, and I did think it was very telling that they decided to highlight the conversation that Harmony is having, I believe with Milchick, where she talks about giving people, you know, the sense of freedom, not knowing that they're still kind of enslaved to the system, like giving them this peace. Do you think that this was partly that? Like, let's make them believe that they're free to a certain extent and they'll never realize the chains that they're in. And what did you think of these doppelgangers?
I mean, maybe for some, and some, because you know, Hilly ain't Hilly. Maybe for Mark and David, never for Irving. Irving said, I ain't trusting none. He said, I ain't following nothing. Like, I was like, absolutely, Irving. All of this, there's always supposed to be like a sense of security in that Lumen is going to look out for Lumen. Like, if anything, those doppelgangers, nothing with the doppelgangers, the thing, a body snatcher, nothing ever ends well. Like, that means we're here to take world domination, Pinky. That's what that means. How many of them do you have? Like, or what are you trying to perfect? Like, you don't create doppelgangers just for sport and to, you know, point in a direction. They're going to be of some use. Like, oh, this is just for the simulation. Like, no, but they probably stocked and piled in another room on the left side of the building, for all we know. I just felt like this was to this was you said it wasn't actually, this is team building for them. In Lumen's mind, this was team building. Like, they are still thinking, I don't know why. All of that control thinking should have been thrown out the window the moment that they had that little window to be unsevered and go out and explore. Like, it's done. There is no more backtracking or anything that you can do. Well, hell, Milkshake act like he was trying to scare them into submission. Like, who are you without? I forgot what he said when Irving was like, you know, we should eat this. We don't know if we're gonna get any food. And he was like, oh, Milkshake, I'm so happy to see you. And he was like, we're starving. It's like, oh, I thought you were gonna purify yourselves in the waters of Lake Pensacola. So I don't know what he said. What did he say, Ashley?
I thought the waterfall would satiate you, but
yes, I thought you would be. Are you not satiated? Like, oh, it's like, nah, I'm kidding. We don't feed you. We would never leave you out here to starve. Yes, they would. Yes, they would. And the quicker you realize that you are disposable, that's what I saw with them doppelgangers. You guys, we don't technically need you. Like, I just was here for it, and just them being in the elements, and even the ops. Like, y'all just gotta be dressed in black. Like, yeah, you guys are the ops. We're the good people because we're dressed in white. It was just fit down the middle.
Oh yeah, it was clear. If you didn't know, the lines were drawn in the sand. We know who's who. Shout out to Heather Henry for the $5 super chat. I think they're in a holodeck type of environment, like in Star Trek. The holodeck is an immersive virtual reality. I've heard that. I've read that online. That's the speculation, that this is not real. Nothing is as it appears. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And here we have Seth, like you said, in all white, like he's the angel of light. If you are into fantasy and you know anything about like the white cloaks or anybody ever in white, they're never great. It's never good. It's always foreboding and it's always a mess because they want to appear as angels of light. But Seth is our Blue Bear pimp, cruise director, leading and guiding the people, you know, in the way. I just needed a moment for the outfit because it was giving. We don't have to, you know, elaborate on that at all.
No, it's problematic. Like, this felt like what if we did leave you guys to these elements? How would you survive? What would you do? Who would you be without Lumen? Like, it just felt like nobody was waking up to it except for Irving. Like, we can't trust that that Lumen is going to provide. What if we were put out to pasture here and we had to survive? Like, just stop thinking that Lumen has the best intentions. Even Milkshake, we can't trust anybody. We can't even trust each other, child, at this point. Our cruise director.
He was. I mean, he's like, I've got the meats since the highest waterfall in the world. And I said, why are you lying?
Why are you lying?
Lying, sir. And then you see this little pipsqueak of a waterfall, and I'm sitting here like, really?
They've never seen anything. So it's like the highest waterfall in the world. Where, Seth? Where?
at damn Kier Mountain, y'all. But let's get into it because I can't escape it. Ever since this, well, really last season, it really made me feel Mormonism, Scientology vibes, the iconography, the fact that now they're wearing all these pilgrim type clothes. Did you see what Mark and them had on with the suspenders and the belt
Yes.
buckle? I said, what is he, Joseph Smith? Like, what is going on? And so there's actually whole think pieces I found about the relationship between Lumen, Kier, all of that, Mormonism and Scientology. And I just thought that was really interesting. And I wanted to throw that in there because I can't shake it. Even some of the principles that we're getting down to is just like,
Everything. That Kier book, I'm telling you, the way it was lit, it was like you found the holy, like this was the Bible. This is our Bible. There is a religious aspect in every single episode here. Every single one.
absolutely. Absolutely. D, any thoughts, comments on this at all before I go on to the next?
No, I can definitely see that. And obviously I don't know the ins and outs, but it's ironic because there was a cast member on the Real Housewives of New York City in the most recent season, and there's a Scientologist on there, and the discussion even surrounding that and how everybody during the show was scared to talk about it. They were just like, okay, I don't know anything. I ain't in this. On to the next. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of kind of mystery and just this, I don't know, like this kind of shroud around those things. Some things we know, but there's a lot that we don't, and so I can definitely see like the parallels here. Like there's so much, nothing is as it seems, as PD said, and there's so much more beneath the surface as
Absolutely.
well.
Definitely esoteric. Like there's this secret knowledge that, and we're going through all the things. But like I said, this sent me on a tear and I needed to know all about these 9 principles. And these are the Lumen team is united by 9 core principles: vision, verve, wit, cheer, humility, benevolence, nimbleness, probity, and wiles. And of course, I have the definitions here if y'all want to come down here later. But I thought it was very interesting because when you go and you actually look at these principles, it's all as it relates to being faithful to Lumen. Like, be honest, have integrity as it relates to Lumen. Everything else be damned. And again, these are the core principles for the employees there. And I just thought that was interesting. Had y'all paid
I
any
love
attention to this before?
No, I've paid attention to it once we saw that painting where we were getting into like I don't know. I think it was an image of Kier giving somebody some lashings with this 9 like cat lash. It was 9 of them. It had like the core principles on it. That episode where damn it, what is his name? What is Big Boy name?
Dylan?
Dylan, Lord. When
That's
Dylan
Thomas.
got the waffle party and it's that whole whip and all I was like, first of all, it had these principles on it, and it came back for me this episode because I was like, who better to cause a whole uprising in Lumen but Irving? Because who knows the core principles harder than Irving? I'm gonna use these same principles to slap each and every one of y'all in the face, starting with Milkshake. Like, I was here for it. Who better to turn up? Like, the fact that he has been so devoted and so well versed in all things Lumen and the creed and the oath and what are we supposed to, everything from the beginning. Like, this is we were waiting on Mark. Mark wasn't never gonna do nothing. Mark wasn't never gonna do nothing. It was always gonna be Irvin. I'm so excited that it was him. Like, I think he's gonna take this and flip it. Like, he knows it inside out. So who better to do it? That's why he was smiling. Like, you don't even know how I'm about to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. D, what about you? What about these 9 core principles? And do any of them stand out? And I can actually go through them one by one if you guys want. But I did think this was interesting. It took me to the drawing board.
Ooh, I don't know why, but nimbleness, for whatever reason, to me seems ominous. I'm just like, now efficiency is one thing. I don't know. Nimbleness to me, what I hear is be nimble in case you have to run from from something. Like, it's just I don't get a good vibe from that. Probity, wow, wit, cheer. And I would also say cheer. Like, when it comes down to Milkshake and his demeanor and how he wants all of them to present themselves and go and and work and have this art, obviously artificial sense of joy or kind of being fulfilled by their jobs. So those are kind of the first two that
Mine
kind of
is
just jumped out.
benevolence. Cause who? A commitment to kindness and teamwork within Lumen. No, this is a cult. It's been a cult. It was one in the beginning. It was one in the end. Like Kier having a twin left a whole new meaning to Sever this episode. I was like, where did that come from? An identical twin who seemed to be an op. Like I don't like none of that stuff y'all have going on. I'm on the complete opposite side. And then I was like, is he? You can't trust anything that Kier wrote down. And then I think they said in this episode that he wrote it when he was on his last leg. He was dying, and you talking about hair turning into moss, and this man shooting up the club in the forest on the ground. I don't know. It just seems like
his seed in the snow. What kind of erotica? I was like, what are y'all reading?
It felt like we were going out to, well, before I go out of here, let me sullen that character. I don't ever want y'all to think he was about anything. That whole Severed thing, and it's a twin. This is dark.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And we can't have the 9 principles, of course, without the 4 timbers, because according to Kier in his writings and the tenets and principles of Lumen, not only do you have to possess all of the 9 principles, which basically lead to, ultimate compliance with the mission of Lumen, because I'm convinced that Kier is just trying to make a slave workforce that is in every way submitted to the cause of Lumen, whatever that cause is. But in addition to possessing the 9 principles, you have to conquer the 4 tempers. And the 4 tempers are, because they gave us a glimpse of them in form, claymation mask form, which the hell, it's also crazy and dark. But according to Kier Egan, 4 emotional elements make up a person's soul, which he calls tempers. The tempers he outlined before he died in 1939 are as follows: woe, where we're at right now in Woe's Hollow, frolic, dread, and malice. The 4 tempers are each associated with different emotions and feelings and are each represented by different archetypal characters and symbolic depictions of components. So we have a crone, we have a bride, we have a jester, and we have a ram that represent each of these things. As far as the woe, that's supposed to be melancholy and sadness. Frolic is joy and frivolity. Dread is fear and anxiety, and malice is rage and intent to do harm. So basically, when they find this book and they're reading through it, other than his brother spilling seed in the snow, we find out that, these 4 tempers are something that you have to conquer. Dee, I'm going to start with you. When this is introduced, because it's been introduced before, but now kind of more in depth, what are your thoughts on this, just in general, as something that we all, I guess, have to conquer? And why ever would frolic be bad? Because I'm like, that's that. Everything else is kind of like, okay, but frolic.
Ooh. I. So again, these are all guesses at this point, but I just think the whole idea of these things making up someone's soul, and we've already talked about the whole doppelganger piece and the whole, people, that room of decommissioned people and all that. I think. Repeat the question one more time, because I kind of got lost.
No, do you think this is really relatable as far as our own human souls? And then how does one conquer these things? Because seemingly frolic isn't really bad. You have malice, which is intent to do harm. You have dread, fear, anxiety. I can see that. Woe is melancholy, sadness. But frolic doesn't seem bad. Does it?
I would say the one thing I would take away from frolic, because it's, to me, when you frolic, frolicking through a field or something like that, it's like you kind of carefree, no worries on your mind, and that is the opposite of productivity and being focused and being at work. So that may be the issue there. And I can definitely see these elements. It's not the same thing, obviously, but it's almost like when I think about the 7 deadly sins, and it kind of feels like but this is kind of condensed to just kind of these 4 different pieces. So yeah, and then as far as handling them, here's the thing. I don't know if I don't know if therapy exists within Lumen or the severed world. So I mean, that's been the best way to conquer for me. But yeah, as far as like a resource for conquering that, I imagine it would be more of a challenge if that is not offered.
Absolutely, because Kier didn't conquer these things. I don't know if anyone ever fully achieves conquering all those things. But Tyra, I'm going to bring it to you. And why is love not there? I'm curious, like because this is all about. I know he's saying it's all about Lumen in the company, but it feels deeper than that. It does feel like a religion. It does feel like a cult
It
to me.
is, and there's no room for love. There's no room for love. There's not even room to frolic. Like frolicking, if you want to be on point with it, milkshake is the embodiment of frolicking. Like even Lil Mama who be coming in there. What's that half a
Miss
name? Who be
Hong,
coming in
Miss
there?
Hong,
No, no, the one who talks to the. She's the only person who talks to the board.
Taylor. Is that her name? Taylor?
Her name's not Taylor.
Oh,
The only one who
oh,
talks to the board.
Oh,
Natalie,
Natalie.
yes,
There you
like
go.
they
Whatever. She looks
frolic.
like a Taylor.
Her milkshake, they frolic, but I think it's the need, not so much the opposite of progress and working, because if you're frolicking, you're not busy, you're not doing nothing. But I think it's that need to frolic and appear a certain way, even when you don't want to. You have to always appear, and it's no. The most painful thing for me would be having to appear to frolic, and I really don't want to be frolicking. I'm really not happy to be here. My main question is like, how many times have you guys did this process? Because in that video, where Milkshake is giving the rundown about how it may look and this, that, and the third, he says like the land is like, oh, it's barren and it's this. You see, it's cold and it's snowing. So it's like how what group of four have you went through to have these things achieved? Like
Mhm.
where they're like multiple failed attempts. Like how long has this been going on? I feel like it's been going on for quite some time and they failed. And is that why there's so much stock riding on Mark, because he's maybe something that you guys have been missing? I just want to know how many times have we went through the process and what happened to the other four who did the woe and the frolic and the dread and the malice. It didn't work because we're back here with the same video.
Yeah, girl, I don't know, but frolic they define it as joy, and I said, "Is joy the opposite of productivity?"
I mean, it
People
was
need to
some
be
joy
looking
to
at
be had in this episode. Somebody had a real good time and they
these.
can't.
Lord have mercy. I just want to know campfires and smoked meats, right? He said we've got an assortment of meats because Lumen provides, Lumen protects. And I just want to know from y'all, and I'll start with you, Tyra, is this the dream team? Miss Hong and Milchek, were they equipped for Irving in the snow? I'm just like, if y'all are supposed to be 10 steps ahead, y'all know Irving ain't tied tight. Y'all know
No,
he ain't tried tight.
not at all. And I think that's where Milkshake mishandles this situation. Like you don't know this team as well as you think they do. Because baby, I would have more. Well, where is the muscle? When that man got last season by girl, what, I can't remember nobody's name. What is the black heifer that's been kind of unsevered, Mark?
Ragabi.
Ragabi, when they took
Mhm.
down that security, I'm like, baby, you are not Harmony. I'm gonna need you to pick it up because you know Harmony got some smoke on her neck. You're a little scared of Harmony. You're not really too scared. Miss Han is not, bringing down anybody. I'm like, where is the muscle? Where is the team? The fact that the board is resting, keeping everybody in captivity, under control, being the watchful eye on Milkshake. Really? It doesn't make any sense on Milkshake and a little girl at that. I mean, if they don't tell us who she is, if they don't tell
Listen,
us who she is and her purpose and why she's a child, I need that answer before we go out of the season at least. But this is absolutely not the dream team, and I'm just like, what's up with the board? I'm like, are they setting him up to fail? Like, what? Because what was this supposed to do? I just would at least think that there would be a more ominous present to maybe fall in line if you're out there with a couple of armed guards or something. I don't know, just some muscle out there, and they matching white fur coats. It's just milkshake and little Goldie Hawn. What are we supposed to do here? What exactly were we supposed to do here? And it seems like Milkshake is going even more overboard with this ominous presence, just because he thinks that these elements kind of snap them back into reality of what it could be. What if I didn't show up with these marshmallows? Like, we are beyond this. We are beyond waffle parties and melon. Can we get away from that and really know what you're dealing with? But Milkshake really thought they had this under control and that they were going to go on this 2 days journey and be so starved for not only, familiarity, shelter, and food, that they were just going to go and leave that campfire and get in those tents and thank their lucky stars that they get to go back to the office. Those days are over.
They're over. They're over. But in philosophy, as well as Remember the Why, asked, do you all think this group represents the four tempers? Like each
Absolutely.
member represents a different, but is it their innie or outie that represents it? Because I could see it if it's their outies, but the innies, are just all so, ugh. But I guess in a way is every team or every severed team representative of the four tempers? D, what you
Well,
think?
no, actually, go back to the four tempers so I can see, so I can attach who to what.
Well, I know damn Whoa is probably Audi Mark, right? Let me go back. Hold on. Where is it at? Where y'all at, Bookie? Bookie Boo. Okay, here we go. I just couldn't see it right. So we have Whoa,
That's
Frolic,
Helly.
Dread, and Malice. Who want to do harm? Irvin want to unalive somebody?
Malice
Dylan
is,
is
I'm going to say
thoughtful.
Malice is definitely Irving. Dread, fear, anxiety. I mean,
That's
you could
probably
say
Mark. That's probably Mark. What you think? And
it
Whoa
could
is
be
probably
because
Dylan
there was some joy.
or
No, I'm going to
Helly.
say woe is I'm
Helly.
saying woe is Hilly. I want to say frolic. The joy was definitely Dylan. He was happy to be there. He was happy to be there when they got there, because I kept forgetting that he didn't get to go out into the world and see and do. The most interaction he's had is that little moment in the closet with Milkshake and the interaction with the wife last episode. He didn't get to go out and be in any element. So this was really a big change of scenery for him. So he was happy at first just to be outside.
And Dylan has been like kind of the jester of the group, right? Like he's been the
Absolutely.
most outlandish one, at least as far as his any.
Mm.
So you say Woe is Helly,
Mm-hmm. She said,
Malice is Malice is Irving,
mm-hmm. Fear,
Dread
anxiety, Mark.
is Mark, and so
Mm-hmm.
Frolic is Dylan. Okay, what you think, D?
And it's interesting because it's like I see that, and then but then it's also interesting because you could flip two of those the other way. Like I think, I think that because Tyra, you just said Woe was Helly, and then Malice was
Yeah.
Irving. Yeah, and so I thought, and I don't know if this is, it's hard to say because there's the Audi, there's the any, and then there's the before, and then there's the now. But I was also thinking that
Yeah.
that Malice could. I was thinking that because how we started out, Woe was definitely Irving, and now he's kind of gotten into Malice now, and then with Helena, we kind of started with the Malice, and now we're kind of at Woe. So that's kind of it's hard
It's
to
hard because
know.
there's just such a desperation. I think for the life of us, all these episodes with us knowing immediately, like, that's not Hilly. What purpose does she serve to be here, to go this deep to prove or have this, like, oh, this actually works? Like, it has to be more than that. I think she prefers to be in there than in the outside with her, to have to deal with her real self and her real emotions or lack thereof, because she seems more alive here and having some type of awakening than she does out there. We saw that when she was watching that video.
Yeah. It's interesting. I like this though. I like this thought, this like thinking process as far as who this could be and how and why they were chosen to be on a team together. And I'm really interested if the new team will ever be reintroduced, right? Because if those three were just kind of centering around Mark, right? That's who they were trying to make. But thanks guys for that. That was really actually good. I was confused, but now I want to know. What animal was this and what did it damn represent? Because again, at this point, the crew is still out there. It's been all day. Irving is huffing and puffing like he has COPD. I wanted to know, does Irving smoke? Does his Audi like smoke cigars or cigarettes or something? Because he was really huffing and puffing as they were going through. And he's like, look, I don't give a damn what animal this is. Let's cut it up. Let's eat it. We don't know if we're going to get food, water, shelter. I'm desperate. Tyra, what did you think of this and what was the representation of it? Like, what did it mean? Why did we see this? Why did we need this?
I mean, I'm gonna go with what they said it was a seal. They said it was a seal, and the ending of it did kind of look sealish as far as like a tail. But then when you look at it, I'm like, what? I was like, is that? At first, I was like, is that a horse? I didn't know.
Here. It looked like a
I didn't know what it was. The bottom half did look like a seal. I felt like it was there to just shown maybe time that had went by, like because this didn't look wouldn't it be like in a different state of like decomposition if it had been there longer? Like what? Or is it just like I really didn't know. I had no clue what the hell this was supposed to represent. I thought that this was more so to give validity to the energy that Irving was giving. Like, why not eat it? Like, why not eat it? Who knows the next time we're going to get a meal? Like, I don't know. I'm like, was this a test for to see their like, oh, they're all right. They're getting back to being a little bit more independent and primitive. They didn't bypass the seal and just assume that we were going to feed them or Lumon was going to provide. They actually decided to provide for themselves. Maybe it was a test. Maybe that thing been there. Maybe
test of like faith. Like, do you believe that Lumon is going to, like he says later,
Yeah.
provide and protect for you? Like, do you really believe that? Who is the one that's willing to? Again, I think it was that differentiating who's with us and who's against us. Because clearly, Irving, this entire episode has been on the opposite side of everyone
Yeah.
else. D, what animal was this, and what did you think it represented, if anything?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I guess I was. I guess I don't know if everyone saw something different. I initially saw a bear because it looked like I don't know, for whatever reason the positioning reminded me like a bearskin rug or whatever, like with the claws or whatever. So that's the first thing that came to mind. And I'm still not 100% sure now, even though you guys mentioned the seal. But I think it could represent, and maybe this is a stretch, but it could represent their potential end if they don't comply or if they don't find a way to, to become a part of this world that's been established and make the most of it and to be the best and to all this kind of stuff. Is just like you can just be this thing that's discarded, and on top of that no one will even know you existed. Like no one will recognize you. Like there's no sense of identity there's in what's left behind. So
there's no far stretch with this show.
Absolutely not. And I like that because I think ultimately from what we know, and we still don't know a ton, but as far as Kier's mission with Lumon, he wants like the perfect workforce that completely submits themselves to whatever the will or purpose of Lumon is. And that means you don't have a singular identity. That means you are just one of the sheep or goats, whatever they got in that thing. You know what I mean? So that would make a ton of sense to me. Mark's reintegration. Baby, Mark was just as dry and dull and dumb this episode than a box of rocks. I didn't know. D, is it working? That's what I want to know.
I'm assuming, because the thing is, I don't know. If PD said it, I can't remember, but I'm not sure what the specific timeline was for the reintegration, or like when you kind of saw more of the effects of it, because we saw him constantly bouncing in and out, and kind of suffering the effects of that. I mean, we can see based on that moment in the tent that there's something there, something is working, but it seems like the process is going to be more complicated and painful and drawn out because right now it's not, even though the actual process that Ragabi did was seemingly instantaneous, I think it's going to start to like kind of creep deeper into his mind, and it's going to become more difficult. as and more of the consequences of it, I think, will become more clear as we go along.
Lord, Tyra, is the reintegration, is it working? Or is Mark just being Mark?
Ain't nothing working, but that bottom half of Mark, that's working. That's all that plumbing down there is in working order. Mark is still Mark. We have not, it hasn't happened. I don't think it's instant. And then you know how this works. We never know what time or how long we've been here versus when I was gonna say Renesmee. What's the lady name?
Ragabi.
When Ragabi, actually, did the process, this we could be, not too far removed from that. Meanwhile, we're here on this whole 2-day conquest, so we don't know. But at this moment, outside of that little flash in the tent where he saw Gemma, it's not working. The way that Irving had to remind him, like, oh, you're over there having a good time. Meanwhile, Gemma, your wife. Remember her? Yeah. Over there, all hugged up, all giving googly eyes. Like, stop looking at her. Like, Irving was bothered. He was so bothered. Like, stop this. Don't you remember when that was always, at the forefront of his mind? But if it was, and it was actually Mark, that would at least be, yeah, I was thinking that we were going to get into this episode and it was just going to be a fish out of water. Like, oh my God. It was just like, no, this is still Mark.
Lord,
Still
and it's gonna be him, Lord. And shout out to the people who are here in the building and positing your theories and talking about all of the things, Severance. Let me let you guys know what we have going on for this month because it is Black History Month, and we'll be right back to talk smecks in a tent. Okay, that'll be the next thing we talk.
Black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blickety black, 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 y'all, and I'm black, y'all.
Well, y'all got it. We already did Malcolm X. If you weren't there, you missed a great time. You missed Tyra's Maya Angelou impression. So make sure that you're there next week for Miss Evers' Boys. We'll be talking about that in a live discussion form. So make sure you have that watched by that time. But thank y'all for being here. But yes, as you stated, Tyra, Irvin wasn't feeling it. He said, you over here making googly eyes and your wife is rotting on the outside, and all you can think about is this poontang from Helly. I didn't need this. I did not need a smeck scene, but Helena, because let's not be under any delusions, right? We know this wasn't Helly, honey. The hair don't even look the same. Helena got a good hairstylist. You hear me? Because she came with the red waves flowing versus that dry, stiff bi-wig that we saw in the Lumon building. But she got what she wanted. She was after that Mark Dingling for the longest time, and she finally got it. I knew it when this heifer was sitting back watching that kiss reel over and over and over and over. I said, she want that beefcake, but why? Mark doesn't seem like he's giving anything. I think she's trying to get pregnant. I think she's ovulating, and this was the perfect moment, perfect time. They probably built this whole occurrence around her ovulation schedule. Tyra, I'm starting with you. Did we need the smecks? And did Helena get what she wanted? And what did she want from this?
I mean, we didn't need the smecks, but Helena did. This is the most fun she's had all her days. Okay, this is the most enlightened she's ever been. I ain't never had nobody rumble up on my thigh in a warm tent. Okay, it's been real cold out there in them outer streets. We didn't need it. Like, the aspect of pregnancy is really, really scary. That's really scary. Ain't no prophylactics in that tent. Y'all wasn't doing the rhythm method in that tent. I don't know how much of a grand scheme of things this could be. Like, was this your plan? Are y'all trying to give birth to? There's always a anti-baby somewhere. Like, where y'all gone with the babies? Like, I thought, was this the mission? Like, is this what your mission was, to go in there and romanticize and get close to Mark and get impregnated? Like, with all the lure and everything to Lumon, there's layers of ancestral type of things. I'm like, could they be related? Are they related?
They act like Mark is the damn chosen one, so they know something we don't know.
Because she is, of Kier, and we still don't know anything too much about Mark and why he would be so important. But Lumon rides for Lumon, and he may not know. We don't know. He may not know who he is. Maybe why Harmony had such that investment also. But I'm like, if they are related, and we doing having babies, there's so many questions left. But it's going to be really interesting now. Like how are we going to explain this to any Helly? Like how are we gonna go, well, yeah, there was, the sex and the you could possibly be pregnant, and if she is pregnant, baby, this is not the last we've seen of her. She gonna be back. First of all, I don't know if D is on a decline on the outside world, or if it's just slim pickings as far as you can get it, because she acted like this was the only place, and if Mark didn't give it to me, I could only get it from Mark. I didn't know where else I was gonna get it. But I feel like she's going to be back. This isn't the last we've seen of her if she is pregnant. And even if she isn't, I'm telling you, she ain't felt no heat in a minute. So she might just come back with some of that.
D, was this by design? Was all of this a strategic measure to, get the seat of Mark?
See, but you see, start. I had the same question as Tyra. I'm just like, is it that scarce? I'm very unclear, but I can definitely see this potentially being by design. What I thought about is that now I don't know. I could definitely see, especially given how her father is, it would be interesting. And we have this whole lineage. We have the heirs, and like you said about ancestry and all of that. And so it wouldn't surprise me if her father might even have tabs on her, and maybe regulating what's going on in the womb and the body and all of that possibly. And because she, I guess, doesn't have that, because it seems like for all as forward thinking and take charge and all that as Helena is, it seems like the dynamic with her father still suggests some sort of control. So I could see it being one of those things where it's just like, okay, well, I can go ahead and do this. This is my way to kind of circumvent that. But I also am worried about the idea of an any outie hybrid
Oh
baby.
Lord of mercy. I can't even conceptualize that.
It has to be a setup. It has to be a setup. Mark is not interesting. Let's start there. Mark is the most lackluster individual. Mark is dry all the way. I hate Mark's hair with a passion. The way you feel about Hilly's hair, that's how I feel about Mark's hair. Every time he's in the scene, I'm like, oh my god, Mark, please, when you gonna get a haircut? I thought you was gonna be the revolution will not be televised and cut your hair this season, but he ain't there yet. Like, there's nothing interesting. She doesn't have any stock. You can't tell me that this woman is that. There is this emotional imbalance to say that she could be that deprived, but there are other people on the outside that she could get an emotional connection, charge, or just sex from. She came in here to get that from him for some reason. And it's not just because Mark is just so damn attractive and alluring. Please, it's Mark.
Definitely not that. But again, what they say, Harmony had an erotic fixation. So apparently, any Mark is steam heat. He's letting off all kinds of pheromones, honey, because the women are hot in the tail, or his progeny is going to be the second coming of Kier or something. I don't know. It's weird as hell, and I don't know. Like I said, D, I can't even conceptualize a hybrid any outie because I can't conceptualize the any outie thing. I still can't wrap my. I don't know if these are two separate things. I don't know if it's the same person with two consciousnesses inside of them. I don't know. It's above my pay grade. But Afterglow, right? Because his D was so good, she's making confessions. These are my confessions. If I, I gotta tell it all. And she says, I don't like who I am on the outside. And Mark is still damn clueless because in my mind, girl, if you really the any, how do you know what your outie feels? That's what I want to know, D. What did you think about this, and why is she feeling the need? Why is she feeling the need to unburden her soul in this way? And why did Mark not pick up on anything?
Um, I, I don't know if it's part of his any character to, to kind of stay on the dun da most of the time. So I mean, it's just like we've kind of established that Mark is always going to be a few steps behind. So in a way, I'm not surprised. I even tried to, we had mentioned it before. I tried to have a little hope that he was going to figure things out, possibly with Helly, and he obviously didn't. So that's just the name of the game at this point. But although this is a more straightforward theory, I can see Helena, maybe the facade is cracking a little bit. And although this is not a real representation of a real relationship or anything like that, what other opportunity and with who would she have the opportunity to express these things? Like, what about her life would reflect a safe space or anything to actually say, like, So, yeah. So I think it's another one where it's like, it's kind of the perfect opportunity, even if it doesn't in theory mean anything for the outside world.
My thing is though, here's my thing. Helena knows her mind, right? She's spearheading this thing. She runs LA. We find out by the end of the episode. Seth, do what he says. We know that she runs things, and my mind is like, if you are this person who just persevere, even her Helly is knows her own mind. I'm going to press forward. I don't give a damn about the consequences. I'm going to pursue this to the fullest. Tyra, was the D that good that she just forgot her whole mission and assignment, or did she know that Mark is just a doodle bop and he wasn't going to pay attention like he didn't?
Girl, shout out to the Doodle Bops. That was my show. I think this was just a moment of her being vulnerable. I think she was supposed to go in there on a mission. This may have still been just that mission, but it's like, I have to do this, but first of all, it feels good, but I don't feel good about it. This is not the way I want to go about this. Like, I don't like myself. I don't like, I'm still there. She's talking about on the outside. I didn't like myself outside. Like, you just know you don't like yourself. This is still, Helly, and this is just some escape for her. Like, the deed is done. I got what I came in here for, but what home? I don't think she wanted to go home. She liked it in here. she likes it in here. I don't think she has any control. I don't think she went off on this dummy mission to, like, oh, my dad or whomever, they're disappointed, so let me get in there and work on the ground floor to show them that this process does work and change that opinion. Because Annie Hilly, went out there and did that whole charade on stage. And Mark is over there basking in the afterglow, so he wasn't gonna be the wiser. Meanwhile, episode 1, Irving, I may be a little loop-de-doo behind Bert, but Heffa, you said you were confronted and seen a gardener at night. Who is gardening at night in the dark, ma'am?
Don't get to it. Irving in the night gardener. He knows. He knows, and nobody else seems to know, because like you said, Mark, you dumb as a box of rocks. You spearheaded this whole any outie protocol. Let's get out while we're in to get to the bottom because Gemma's Gemmaing. And now you forgot you done left her for dead, literally. And you are just so worried about that Helena cootie cat that you can't see straight. So Irving starts talking real kind of crazy. Like, Helly, what about the night gardener? I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I can't trust you. And Helly comes back and is like, don't be mad at us because, you ain't get to see Bert. Because you ain't had no moment in the sun with Bert. Don't get mad at me now because you have these issues. And that's when it was real. You know what I mean? Because Irving says Helly was never cruel. Helly might do her own little thing, but she was never cruel. Irving is waking up and the only one with any sense at this point. Talk to me about it, D. What was that cruel of Helly, aka Helena, to come for Irving like that, or was Irving hot on her neck, so she was just getting him up off her?
For me, I honestly feel like it's, despite all the studying that Helena has done, she doesn't really. I mean, she's done a lot of studying, so I'm not negating that part. But it's like you can only replicate social dynamics or genuine community or genuine relationships, like to a certain point. And I felt like, for all of, any Helly's boldness and brash and, just kind of like reckless abandon as far as what she's willing to do and say. I think there was just still something about that particular statement, because I think it's like if I can have an argument with somebody and we can argue about certain things. I can talk about, I don't know, your forehead, your teeth throwing up gang signs, something like that. I can say stuff like that. But then, if I say something about like, oh, let's poke at your deepest, childhood trauma, or oh, your parent, didn't show up for you, or oh, so I think it's really easy. For certain people, I don't go there, but for certain people, it's easy to jab at the heart, like the heart of their deepest, issue. And right now, that is Bert. And I think it's bigger than just kind of it being like, oh, an insult. It's more so like, would Helly really strike at that deep spot right now, knowing that could be something somewhat devastating? And I'm not saying that Irving wasn't already clear, but I think that final, like, okay, this doesn't, no. That does not compute.
Okay. Tyra, what do you think? Helly was never cruel.
Maybe Helly sealed her fate when she came in there with that little lame baby seal peace offering. So, girl, get that. What child are you offering that to? Get the, like, oh, it's like, yeah, what about that night gardener? What kind of vest? What color were the socks, Helly? Like, I don't care. I think that they are, continuing to think that they are smarter. Like, these are, what's these little innies? Like, I won't have to try too hard. Like, no. I'm just like, if Irving is this smart as an innie, I can't wait to see how he moves as an outie. I'm really, really interested. That gave, it wasn't just that, they went out of their way to show us that Irving, the any Irving was not making it out of this episode. He was so isolated. The fact that they was all warm, getting it on in the tent. He's shivering me timbers out there in the cold, sleeping on a rock. I was like, oh, Irving, like, it's blown out. He's in the grass, and then he goes into that little dream sequence. I don't know what that was on that screen with those numbers. I swear the face looked, was that not Helly's face? Was it not? I ran it back and I froze it. Like,
was the undead creature of the night. I don't know who she was typing at that computer. I don't know
No, not that thing. That thing was supposed to represent what was in the book about, after the seed was spread on the ground, and this woman who was, half of a woman coming out, like that was her. Now, why Irving saw her in particular, like maybe there's an awakening in him the same way that it was with Didier, and it's all coming together. Those numbers on that screen, when he was looking, he saw Bert and the screen lifted up, he saw that thing over there, that one over there, and then it was the image on the screen. It was a face. I think it was Helly. I think that's when he kind of woke up to. That's all the confirmation I ever needed. She's definitely not who she says she is. And then we go over here, and she's just, basking in the ambience and whatnot. Just like, hey, yeah, So back to this night gardener. It's just like, how long that, okay, I thought I was tripping because, this will make you start seeing stuff. Like, what was that in the back? Was there a face on the tree? What did that mean over there? But I love this. I like how he approached her. Like, he gave her chances. Like, just be honest. It won't change anything. Just tell me who you are. Don't think I'm just that stupid and we're that naive. Everybody's not Mark. Just tell me who you are, because you're not Helly.
You're not Helly. You're not here. And this is what I really want to know because we're about to get into the main event, because I got my life during the main event. But before we go there, I want to know what you guys think. I read a ton of think pieces and Reddits, and I went down all of the rabbit holes as it relates to Dieter. I want to know, did Kier really have a twin, or is Dieter a part of himself that he feels like he cut off while he was on this pilgrimage in the snow and ice? Is Dieter real, or does he represent something else? The definition of Dieter is an army of people or someone who's trying to lose weight. D, I'm going to start with you. What say you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, even though it's Dieter, I just kept seeing Dieter. So the whole So that makes sense. I honestly, yeah, something about it, at least for me, kind of gave well, maybe not as literal as a split personality, but definitely that other side that's being suppressed, that's being cut off, that's not um that kind of has to die for the die for for the true here to rise to the forefront. That's kind of what I took away from it. I wouldn't doubt if there's a twin piece to it, but to me, so much of the book and the writing seems so metaphorical that I could totally see it being like, oh well, this isn't as steeped in anything real because so much of it is up in the air and drawing from like symbolism and themes and metaphors and all
Yeah,
that.
and that's what I think. And Dieter, yeah, Vic, I think I don't know if it was his, because here's the thing. I think that they refined the process of what it meant to be severed. I think his severing was completely mental, right? Like I think Dieter was a part of himself that he literally cut off within himself, like almost like a DID, like what you're talking about, D, like dissociative identity disorder or something. Like he compartmentalized this other person, or this person Dieter did all of those things, and that's not me. I could never do that. So he cuts that part of him, and being really the first severed, but not in the way we know people to be severed. Tyra, talk about it.
Maybe I'm not eliminated either or. We gonna wait and see. We're gonna wait and see. Like I would love for there to be a twin. Like I would love to be for there to be an entire op organization ran by this twin, and we get over there with Renesmee.
Maybe that's what Robbie works for.
We get over there with her, and it's like, well, yeah, because they are so slow with letting out information. Like, why? Like, who do you work for? Who do you work for? What? Like, there has to be something. Like, I would love for there to be a complete like Lumon opposition side, and it's a whole. Because my baby's gonna have to have somewhere to go. When Irving roll up to free everybody, we gotta have backing, okay? I need to know who's the big bag, like who's behind it, who's pushing to really break this down piece by piece. Who is Irving on the phone with on the outside? I want to know. I want to know. So I'm not eliminating. I would love for there to be a twin and to just really have it split down the middle, have an all out like war type situation. But it might just be, figuratively, and yeah, that's cool too.
She's like, but I'm here for the real life twin. Now we're here to the main event, the excitement of it all. I say, you better drown that heifer, Irving. You better drown her. Tell me who you are. Oh, okay. You don't want to talk, Seth. and y'all, I do not condone abuse. I don't, but I was here because Helena was an op. She's there on assignment and a mission to seek, to steal, to kill, to destroy, to do all of the things. And I don't like it. And I love that Irving took a man of action, what they call him, a man of action. And I loved everything about it. Tyra, I'm starting with you. Were you surprised and thrilled and elated as I was when he submerged her head under that cold water? I was so excited.
For me, it was just when the passion at which he brought her to the water. It's like, yeah, get your ass on down here. I'm tired of playing. I've been real patient with you playing in my face. That was it. When she threw Bert in his face, I knew it was. I was like, oh girl, you went there. You took it to Bert. You brought up my man.
She said, Molly, you in danger, girl.
You
Don't do
brought
that.
up my man. Like, she was like, yeah, call him. Yeah, call, yeah. I'm sick of playing with y'all. Like, if this wasn't an awakening, I don't know what was. Like, this was literally standing on business. We ain't got nothing to talk about. I'm not asking you again. I know it's not you. I know it's not. And just to prove it, I'm gonna hold you under this water. Like, and it was only so much we could do. This was the only option he had for them to really do it right then and there. Like, I don't have time to question and ask, and then y'all go somewhere, or you try to do something on the back end, she's a mo. I said, yeah, absolutely. She an op. Put her in the water. I ain't never seen Milkshake run that fast. You know, they be cruising, walking through them hallways. The only person we see running is Mark. Say, yeah, run, brother. Run, brother. I want to say another word, but run, brother, run. That's what you better do. I love this. I was like, yes, get this, because I'm sick of playing with y'all. And then it was confirmation. Not only are you not Helly, but you had the power to just you're an Egan. Double dip. Yeah, put her in there. Dunk her again.
She gonna call him by his first name.
Seth. Yeah. She said, yeah, Seth. I know your name.
Did it give you everything you needed, D? It gave me everything.
Got us running around here calling you Milkshake. How she know your name? She said, Sethy Pooh, come get your girl, because she gonna drown. You waiting. Put her back. Put Helly back, because I'm not gonna play with y'all. I loved it.
Woo, listen, we going down to the river to take it to the river. Listen, from the beginning, much like Tyra, Irving was the character who intrigued me the most from the beginning, because I find that characters who are seemingly unlikable or are the ones who kind of have, you know, unlikable characteristics, I always find like the way that their mind works, or just like kind of their deeper inner thoughts, there's always other things going on. So I've always just been interested kind of from the beginning, seeing like there's obviously more to this character, but what, like how and why. And so seeing that come full circle here and in such a way was absolutely fulfilling. And I will say, just for 2 seconds, I got worried, because I was just like, please don't tell me that they've done. For a moment, I was like, are they going to do like a switcheroo, and then he's going to think he's drowning? he is drowning Helena, and then kind of the same way that they switched. So I kind of was like, I got worried for a minute, but I thought it was interesting that, similar to how it's kind of like the opposite, but similar to how any Helly tries to take out Helena, we kind of have the opposite happening here, where it's like just kind of destroying Helena to bring back, you know, any Helly. So I thought that was, it was definitely a moment.
I was waiting on it, because I was like, oh, you out here, that she was one frolicking. You ain't here frolicking, all walking around. Like, if something happens to you in here, you're really dead.
Oh my goodness. So, and then here we go now. So again, Seth, do what he says. He's gonna take her out. He's gonna drown. He's gonna drown her. And now we find a whole new terminology. I said, I want a list of all the protocols. I want a list of all codename Wolverines. I want a list, because suddenly we see Milchug, Blueberry Pimp, all in the white, saying, remove the Glasco block. How many protocols are there? And of course, we see Audi Helena revert back to Helly, and Irving, you know, I'm so sorry. Listen, but this is what I needed to know. D, I'm starting with you. What do you think the Glasgow block is, and were you here for it? Like, I mean, the automatic switch, and does that mean that there's protocols for everyone who's severed, or is this exclusive to Helena?
I definitely, as everything is on this show, it's obviously a lot more complicated, and I'm sure the dynamics of it run really, really deep. But the same way we kind of have that, I believe it's the overtime contingency. Clearly, we have these kind of override protocols, like these kind of like, okay, we can reset, or we can fix this, which actually is more disturbing, because it's like, what else can you control? What else can you what else can, you know, how deep do, you know, the puppet strings go when it comes to that? So I think the Glasgow block has something to do obviously with the any Audi piece, but I think it's deeper than just that. I think the Glasgow block is tapping in deeper, even if it's hard to say, but even if it's beyond just the severed piece, like what it does to your mind, and if it's accessing emotions and deeper things like that, I think in everything, and even kind of like those things we mentioned earlier, the four, what's the word?
The core, the four
Tempers.
tempers.
I can't remember what tempers, yeah, or even things like that. It could be somehow connected to that as well. And I know it's there. There's quite a few, more than a few of the protocols as well.
Absolutely. And Tyra, as we're going on, I'm sorry, Helly. I had to do it, and Irving did what needed to be done. What do you think about these protocols, and what does it mean going forward for the other people, and what does it mean for Helly? Is Helly going to be Helly, or if Dee's posit is correct, like will she be changed, altered, like reset almost?
I hope not. I hope not. Um, I'm here for the protocol. I want to know where we can get some and how can we use it for the other side. Because she was, Helly is completely unsevered and there was no removing of a chip. We didn't have to go through any processes over there with Renesmee and them. No, it's just the click of a button. Like, how can we repurpose this? And is that maybe why? What else are they cutting off from Helly for her to be just so distant and just emotionally in like in depth all the time? It just seems like there's always this roboticness to outside Helly. Like, are y'all cutting off other things so that she can't feel? Is this the only place where she's been able to feel something because y'all cut off certain things or cut on certain things that y'all cut off in the real world? Like, 'cause she doesn't seem like a real person. I mean, they could. I hope they didn't, because what the only purpose it would serve is that Helly can't get in here and now give validity to what I think this was all that they ever needed. Like, in your face, this was never Helly. So they were clearly lying, and she was lying the whole time about who she was and what she saw out there. And the only thing that this would do, it would be, some distance and things between her and Mark, but it wouldn't be such a revelation now if she came in and was like, "Oh, Helly's, she's related and the father, and this is what I saw out there." We kind of already know that all of that was untrue, so we can't really save face now or feel like we need to, because the cap is already blown off. So I don't know. I would hope not, and we don't have to start from anywhere, because she didn't say like Irving, like, oh my god. It was just like, where am I? What's going on? She didn't say like Mark, or nothing registered or clicked. Like, oh my god, guys, like, oh my god, I was so scared. It was just like, where am I and what's going on? I was like, oh,
Because look how she's looking at Mark in this picture.
Yeah. If they did do a reset, I mean, that's okay. That leaves us energy to sadly get back to Gemma. Because all of that attraction and carrying on is kind of distant. Like, how much did you guys make her forget? Did she forget everything? The kiss and the whole? Did she just forget that time as an outie and being in the real world? Or was it just a complete reset and she's not going to know anybody here?
All right. And now moving on down to the last scene, honey. Listen, I've never seen a man more at peace with whatever happened. He said, "You are going to be plunged into the eternal darkness." I said, "All right, Seth." It's so unserious to me because, again, his true nature was revealed. He pulled out like all of that Mr. Crockett in this scene. He said, "It's over for you, Irving. It's over." And I want to know, in what way is he just being, put back into reality again? And he is being, or is this mean that Irving is gone? Is Outie and any Irving gone? I'm gonna start with you, Tyra. What does it mean? What does it all mean?
Girl, milkshake forever giving. May the odds be ever in your favor. Angie, sit down, milkshake. Sit down. Sit down. Like, I don't know why he's under the impression. Well, I mean, I guess I could understand, because we know that Audi Irving was already investigating because he had that trunk full of stuff. So this doesn't cut off anything for him. I don't think Irving will just cease to exist now. Either way, I think this version is pretty much. I was like, you said all of this to say you're fired. That's all this was, Milton. You were being all dramatic. Go off into the darkness and the abyss. We would never know you as. Oh my goodness. It was giving Shakespeare. I was like, yeah, deliver, first of all. You better act. But it was very ominous, like, oh, you done it now.
Eternal darkness.
Like, eternal darkness. Walk forward, hith from now. This moment you shan't talk to anyone. Like, just walk off. Walk off, Irving. Just walk off. Because we said all of that, and that was the equivalent of, you're fired. You're fired. You will no longer like anybody here, they won't know it's you. It was him telling like, hold on. Telling Dylan, like, it's okay, hold on. I'm coming back. I have enough put together. Like, I don't think he thinks that Irving, because we never got confirmation on whether or not Irving and Mark knew each other on the outside. Like, we still don't really know, too much of everything to even form an opinion on what he's going to do once he's out there. And even, situations with Bert, we don't know. So I think he has enough knowing of what his outie knows to know that this isn't the end. Dylan, hold on. I'm coming back for you. I'm coming back to this whole situation. This isn't the last you're going to see of me.
From what I've read, through those paintings, he's been communicating with his innie and outie. So I think that you're right. I mean, Irving definitely has a plan. Dee, what did you think about Milchick's performance? And what does this mean for Irving? Is it just his innie who's cast into utter darkness? Will we see outie Irving again? Is that a thing? What are your thoughts on this whole go into the woods? Let me press the button.
Yeah.
I was like, are you gonna execute him right here in real life? You got a gun? You gonna shoot Irving in the back of the head? What do you mean go into the woods?
That's awesome.
I was gonna say I didn't know if that was coming up next or not, but yeah, I would say like I didn't think it was actually possible, but Milchick really did reach like new levels of yes, Master Boss, and I really did not appreciate that. I was just like, whoa, we're going all the way there. I see. I think that much like my whole theory with whatever decommissioned department there is, and the shadow being that wherever that area is where the darkness and all these versions that no longer operate within the severed floor, I think it's going to have something to do with that. Now, the bigger question is there going to be a way to bring them back? And is this just it, or can they come back? Because I know we're going to see outie Irving, because they kind of showcased before when Milchick was going around telling them they were fired, and it was just kind of like, okay. But now what that means for what outie Irving is going to do in the wake of that remains to be seen.
I think there's always a chance to come back, just like with Pete. Like we're unsevering and you're walking forth into the dark forest, into the abyss to never be seen again. However, my chip is still here. There's always, even if it's not by you and by Lumon, there is a moment of reactivation and for it to be repurposed for me to be here, but you may not have any control over it.
Yeah. MP, hey Mark. I believe Irv went to the testing floor. Based on his paintings, he's probably been there before. Maybe they can reset him. Maybe they can. I still think there is some nefarious underpinnings to Lumon. I think they be unaliving people. I do. I think they've got a morgue full of bodies on that bottom floor that they reanimate and do strange things to. I just believe it in my heart.
It didn't sound like, oh, we're going to reset you. I think the growl in Milchick's voice was, what ramifications are you gonna have? It was already a moment, like ever since Harmony stepped aside, you and your leadership has just been questionable by the hour. Not only did you already have that situation with Helly in the beginning and her trying to escape all the time, and that was already, but Harmony was still kind of there and present. But since you've been in position, they didn't went on out and said, their little piece, got a piece of the outie world, staged a coup. And now we're here and Helly almost dies on your watch. Like, I think we're getting to what I've been waiting for. Him getting pushed aside and then bringing Harmony back. And I swear, I swear to God,
Miss Cobell,
he's going to lose it. He's gonna lose it. You think he all Shakespearean now? He gonna go full Othello on all of y'all. Like it's gonna be dark.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait. I'm here for it. But y'all, thank you so much for being here. We're going to get into predictions. But first, I want to let you guys know what else we have going on this week. We'll be right back after these messages to wrap this down. The pocket Lexus and throw your keys up.
Damn if I can't slow dance with you. Come pour some sugar on me, honey. It's a real live boogie and a real live hold down. Don't be a bitch, come take it to the floor now. Woo. One step to the right, we headed to the dive bar. We always go at night. Ooh, run me to the left and spin me in the middle, boy. I can't read your mind. They say
This ain't Texas. And y'all, we will be back next week. We are going to be diving into the world of Yellow Jackets. So just don't forget, it'll be out next Friday, and we will be back a couple days later to talk about it. So make sure you're caught up on Yellow Jackets as well. But before we get out of here, D, I'm going to start with you. Predictions for episode 5 of Severance. Any ideas, any thoughts, any things you want to see?
I definitely, I definitely want to see, and maybe it's too soon. Maybe it's going to be one of those things where they're going to make us wait until like the last episode. But well, actually, they might make us wait to the last episode because, ironically enough, the finale episode is titled "Cold Harbor." So I am interested in seeing how Miss Cobellwig fits into that because I know she's not completely gone. So I would love to see some hint, as far as what might be going on with her. I also am ready to see what Audi Irving and Audi Bert have going on because that whole phone situation, like that's really, I'm kind of ready to circle back around to that. It may be too soon, but I'm excited.
I'm ready for that. Tyra, predictions for episode 5.
I'm ready to get into Bert because Irving said, "Who said I had a bad experience?" Y'all don't know what happened. We didn't really get into that. We just know that Bert had a little yeah in the house or whatever, but we don't know what happened or what was said or what was shared or who Bert is on the outside. And like I said, he had already prior to the Audi Eni situation. He already had Bert's whole address and mapped out. Like that was already a thing. So what were you guys talking about before? I'm ready for that. I want Milkshake to get fired. Okay. I want some ramifications. I want, clearly you're not equipped to handle. I want him to be just demoted, for him to be the little Han and the big Harmony to roll up. Like I want let me see what happens when you get mad. Like because when he realized like he's not as valued and he isn't going to be giving chance, like I'm ready for that to happen. And I want Mark to really get into that reintegration process. I don't want just the Flash. I want a fish out because we ain't got nothing from Mark. First, my favorite is Audi Mark, first of all. If we gotta pick one, because any Mark. I mean, Audi Mark don't be doing nothing. So I would really like to see Audi Mark getting any actually doing something, having to be accountable, having to be present, and having to take action, because he's just been kind of waddling in his little self-pity for a very long time. So I want to see what happens when Mark gets active. What happens when Mark and Irving get on the same type of energy? Like let's see what happens then. I want to see that.
I wonder if Mark got that kind of energy in him.
I hope so.
But you guys, that was Severance episode 4, Woes Hollow. Be sure after this live post to go into the comments. Let us know what you thought of this episode and what your predictions are for next episode. But before we go, I'm going to go over there to Mr. D Movie Man. Let the people know what you've got going on.
Hey everyone, this is D Movie Man, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic, coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions. That is the crux, that is the tagline, that is the summation of what I do over on my channel. All things movies, with the occasional touching on some of my favorite television shows. Right now, I am currently making my way through The Traitors Season 3, which is a hot mess in the best possible way. And I am also sharing my thoughts on some of the most recent trailers, like Ryan Coogler's Sinners, which I am very, very excited for. I will also be sharing my thoughts on some of the films I had the chance to see at Sundance. And I just dropped a review for Heart Eyes, which just came out this weekend. And yeah, there's going to be a whole lot more coming up. I'm hoping to do a couple of things for Black History before the month ends. Even though, you know, Black History is, you know, all day, every month, every year, like history, period. So yes, feel free to support, do all the things, and I would absolutely love to have
You guys, make sure that please that you're subscribed to everyone's channel on the panel. Make sure you have that notification bell hit. Make sure you go watch them, but just go play some videos while you around the house. So do something, okay? Because it helps. It helps so much. And Tyra, before we get out of here, what you got going over there over at Struggle Reviews TV?
I mean, we'll be back in action literally 5 minutes from now. If you are a member or you'd like to become a member, be sure to join us. Saturdays we do our members only watch along, and in the heat of Black History Month, we will be watching Finding Forrester. So if you would like to join us, please become a member. Yeah, and be on the lookout. Next week is going to be pretty busy, and we don't want y'all to miss none of that. Make sure your notifications on. Normally, we have a tendency to drop all links and all of the things that's going to happen in the channel. Everything's normally queued up, so if you could go and put your notifications on next week, so you can just get that notification and just to join us, and don't be rolling up all late and stuff. That would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for joining us. And we will leave you with the little Severance intro. Have a great night. And the members, we will see y'all in a couple minutes for this Finding Forrester watch along. I cannot wait. Have the most amazing night. Be safe, and we will see y'all in the next video.
Take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi, take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss, take off the weird ass jewelry. I'ma take good steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricate streams and the microwave memes. It's a real world outside. Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo, take off the Sandro, pay 5 days stay, take off for the meal, hella 5. Take off